what you've got there is amazing for what I'm going through at the moment. What I teach to people, what I speak about, is actually connection. And an idea that I have. I believe that Source speaks to you in different ways and only talks to you, not even only talks to you, but gets a medium that you have your mind completely open to give you the lessons of life. I'll give you an example. So I'm very connected to a show called Arrow. You've probably seen it.
Yep.
Now, I watched it once in 2018. I'm a big, massive superhero fan. I get a lot of my messages through the pop culture scene. You know, I do Batman and Robin. I dress up. I love it,
Okay.
right? But I
Yeah.
embrace the characters and the characteristics. I always look at who the character is and what they're trying to teach me. It's not. There's no accidents. So, do you believe that that Source will come through a medium, whichever medium it may be, and teach you the lessons of life? So as I said, I watched Arrow in 2018, great show. Then suddenly this year I was prompted to watch it again, and I watched it at a different consciousness and got a lot more
Oh yeah.
answers from it. Like, mate, I mean, it was teaching me, how to be a stoic man, how to eliminate yourself from being emotionally involved. You look at the character that you are. Who really are you as a person? You're looking
Yep.
at the journey. Even though Oliver Queen was in purgatory on an island, it's the same, similar to what people go through life, and they're living life, but they're in purgatory in their mind. So, do
Mhm.
you actually believe that, and do you teach it, or do you get people to be aware of that? You will get messages in different ways.
Yes, I teach that after the awakening process. At first, I'm all about them. Just find your spirit. Remember your spirit. Once they found that, then I get more philosophical. But I teach that every time an artist goes into an alpha state to make an artistic creation, it's an open invitation to the divine for co-creation, and that God has been working through all artists through all time, but especially our modern venues like. The last show I did that with was The Flash, and The Flash had message after message after message, symbols,
Wow.
symbols, letters, colors, numbers, all sacred to me. Like
The
it's
Speed
everywhere.
Force, the Speed
Yeah,
Force, my
the
friend.
Speed
You
Force, the
you would
Still
you would have
Force, and yeah,
you would have absolutely gone. I mean, from what you're talking about, I mean, I'm watching the Speed Force. I understand that sort of like going through time and all that. You would have you would have opened your mind to that, and big smile on your face, go, hang on a minute, they're talking to me here. Would that be fair to say?
yes, absolutely. Yeah, I believe God works through everything is in this modern time. Like
Oh
it
yeah.
can get ridiculous. It can get personally branded at a level that you'll be like, how the hell? Like, yeah, it's over the
Man.
top and a source of endless entertainment and education.
Yeah, those
Oh,
spiritual
mate,
downloads
that's
come in so many different ways. Like sometimes it'll be through a person. They say something exactly to me, and I'm almost like, "You really just say
Right.
that?" It's almost like it's not them. Or I get it with music a lot, or just signs, license plate.
Music's huge too.
I
Yeah.
get a lot, and I get a lot. I'm more like clairaudient. I hear stuff, and at first I thought, when I was younger, I thought, maybe I experimented with some things. I maybe rewired my brain, but now I realize what it is. It's just you're getting those messages. A lot of even like my video ideas are
Yeah.
like downloads, but it's just funny. It comes in so many different ways, and it's so like specific for you that there's no other way that anyone else could know that. It really shows the
Right.
interconnectedness of all things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah,
Yeah, it's amazing the mind
no,
of
that's really good,
Source, the
mate.
mind of God, the
yeah,
way it's tapestry that it weaves through all time and interacts with our very personal story. But like what the Flash meant to me, like another person can watch it and have all these codes, letters, numbers, symbols just for them too.
yeah,
Like every book was written just for me, but every book was also written just for you.
yeah.
Like somehow, like yeah,
Oh, fantastic. Mate, this has been a
yeah,
phenomenal chat, man. I mean, your connection to who you are and the metaphysical teachings has been amazing, mate. So thank you so much for
thanks, brother.
coming and talking to us. Another question for you, um, journaling. Like I'm a journaler, right? So obviously,
Hmm.
I wrote my book, Vices, with regards to journaling. do you? My coach JT Fox, obviously, he talks about journaling and writing, having a pen and paper here. What significance does that have? Even though you might say, "Oh, it's simple to write things down," but how important is it in life to have a pen and paper and the power of the pen and paper?
I would say it depends on on your own mental configuration because I can totally vibe with what you're saying, but I myself,
Yep.
I'm not, I don't like to take notes of any kind. Like I went through
Yep.
college and I just had a different system. I used my ears and I wouldn't write anything down. And so somehow
Okay.
I'm more connected to the sound of words than I am the sight of words. And
Yep.
so I would say it totally depends on you as a person, but if you're oriented the way you are, then critically, foundationally important. But no two people are the same. So this is probably the first time that maybe we deviated on, but I don't see that as a everyone's different, you know, in that way. But it, it can definitely help you to sort things out, you know, to have that type of recall. But yeah, I'm more associated towards audibly than I am visually.
I'm going to jump in one more. Sorry, Di.
I don't care.
Mate,
Well,
we're going to I got a friend of mine who would love to chat to you. My partner in my other show that I do, Divine Journeys with Sarah.
Okay.
I'm going to show her this video. I think she's going to go, "Oh my god, what a fascinating man." I'm looking at duality, my friend. We're looking at masculine, feminine energies. What part of that,
mm,
and how much of a part does it play in your practices? Understanding duality, understanding the that people have masculine, feminine energies. You've got the planet which has masculine, feminine energies, and how we balance that all out and create, I guess, the ultimate duality. Knowing we have our own journeys, we have past lives and all that, which we're all aware of.
Right.
How where does that play in your part in your practice?
Well, it's been huge for me. Once I shifted out of religion and became metaphysical and started traveling out of the body, it was actually the divine feminine that first woke me up and took me into my first out of body experience. And I beheld her as my higher self. And for like an entire year, I would tell people I'm actually a female on the other side of the veil until she guided me and through a series of out of body projections like, no, Michael, you're a man, so be a man. So I'm like, all right, you know, I'll roll with that. But I know the feminine polarity very, very well within myself, and it's even manifested externally as a soul mate. And we have an internal relationship and an external relationship. It's very profound. To me, it's the highest fruit of this whole thing. Some people they foresee that we'll return to an androgynous state. I've got a different take on that. I
hmm.
believe that we're headed towards becoming a mated soul. So I don't want to possess my feminine. I want to let it be itself. And I just want to claim the masculine and I want to relate with the feminine, but I can remember the perfected state through my oneness with her. So through the oneness, she can dwell in the center of my being, but through my surrender, I can just claim the masculine and let her be the female. And it's been highly fruitful. It has to do with building the love in the soul because any parent or any person who's ever had a puppy knows that you can love another being more than you can love yourself. So I believe that choosing the mated soul configuration over the androgynous soul builds more love and builds more luminosity. And it's been, of all the sacred treasures of being a spiritualized physical being, nothing compares to having this divine relationship with my soulmate.
Wow.
Off you go, Di. I think you've got something to say for that one. We mate, yeah. What can I say? I'm writing notes down here, and I can't keep up with all your information there, my friend. Look, I'll go. Okay, I'll go again if that's all right, Di.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all right. Sorry, I didn't see you there. How about if I went with the universal laws and universal principles? What are the greatest ones you believe that people need to know right now if they're listening to this and they want to sort of look at it and go, hang on a minute, I'm feeling that I'm on a journey. what are some, and I'm looking at, universal and spiritual laws
Hmm.
and universal principles. What are the
Yep.
three you think are the most important that people could look into and not be overwhelmed by?
Three don't spring automatically to my intuitive associative mind,
Yep,
but two jump right out. Number one
yep,
is that love is the law.
Mhm.
And I mean that literally. I think love is most oftenly misinterpreted as a spectrum of frequency. It's not. That's light. Love and light are two distinctly different things. What I found love to be is a property of the space that the light is flowing through. When light flows through loving space, it gets harmonized and amplified, so its luminosity increases. And when light flows through an unloving space, it goes through entropy, decay, and dissonance. So if you focus on your love instead of your light, then you naturally become an attractor and a harmonizer and an amplifier of light. So I think people get hung up on the light work when it's all about the love work. When you cultivate the love inside of you, in particularly love for God, then that's an attractive force that pulls more of God into you, and then everything just starts magnifying. If it's light that you seek, then do the love work. The other one would be the free will principle of the universe, because I've had the don't know if I would call it a privilege because it broke my heart, but I had the experience of going back to God before God made all of this. So I know the loneliness of one supreme being that knows itself as all that is. So nothing is more sacred or important to Prime Creator than respecting our free will, letting us move independently and not being automatons. And when you realize the original purpose of the creation is the manyness, not the one, but the manyness, then you become a very high respecter of other people's free will, and you see the great treasure and the great joy in the fact that we're having a conversation, when really, like, this great grand backstage truth is there's only one being. Well, not anymore. Like, it's a miracle. So those are the two that spring. I'm not getting a third for whatever reason.
yeah, that's fair enough. Just because there's a lot of different things going around. People are looking for the answer, if you know what I mean. But I think you're fighting society, you're fighting what's happening in the world today. So you're looking to be as one. I always say about the lions and the tribe they have. You always want that emotional, spiritual connection with others, with yourself,
Yes.
and then excuse me. Um, and you look at all that, and you want to embellish everything you can. Then you see. I think the big thing is getting disconnected from what you see on social media, especially when they're
Oh
pushing
God,
all
yeah.
that. Yeah, it's look, and I believe you should be able to enjoy everything in life. That's what I say. It's freedom to enjoy stuff, but we all know there's obviously players playing up with that. They're using it against us. If you get where I'm
Yeah,
going, but
I
nothing
do.
wrong with. There's absolutely nothing wrong with going to watching the Flash and enjoying it. What you're doing,
Yeah.
all those things. So, what would be if someone came to you and they were lost? What would you say to them?
I would say be still, be silent, go into your heart, be still. The more still you are, the more silent. It's really difficult to do because it's so damn simple. The most simple things
Yeah,
are hard. The greatest wisdom that I've encountered has been such utter simplicity that it evades the consciousness.
yeah.
And it really does come down to that simplistic. And if you do get in any trouble, learn from a dog. A dog will always remind you what's important. The dog's recipe for happiness is if I have shelter, family, and food, it's the best day ever. That's the mentality of
Simple.
a dog. And so yeah,
That's
I have a
fantastic. Yep.
dog that's everything to me, and he teaches me that every day.
It's
And with the
amazing what you can
whole,
get, all the lessons you can get. Sorry, Di, keep going.
you good? Okay. Just a question with the whole like ascension process with everything with that's going on this planet. There's so much chaos going on in the world, and how do you view like just what's going on in the world right now? Like how we can all like ascend and raise our expand our consciousness and raise our frequency and vibration and everything when this world's so chaotic. I feel like there's so much there to like lower frequency and like feeding off negative energy and stuff. So how do you see how do you see the world right now? Like how are we doing with that process? Like even though there's a lot of chaos, I do believe there's divine order and chaos and everything, but
Hmm.
it can be some people have lost hope, because all the things that are going on in the world and things are being exposed right
Yes.
now. So like how
Yes.
can we like what just your views on it and how we can rise above all that?
Sure. Well, most people are unaware of this at an experiential level, but we are one soul that knows
Hmm.
itself as many different parts. We are earth. We are human. We are one. To literally connect to another person, all you got to do is think about them, and a sphere of your energy will appear in their
Hmm.
perceived reality. It's all interpretation of frequency. He's in Australia, you're in the Carolinas or Virginia, I think you said.
Hmm.
That's just a different frequency. That's not all
Yeah.
this distance of space. It's a slightly different. You're right here in the same place I am, the center of the universe, the only place that exists. So my point is that uh, some of us are not distracted. Some of us are doing the work, and some of us are maybe a little bit distracted, but putting in the work, right?
Hmm.
So we're doing this for everyone. We keep thinking in terms of individual achievement, but the
Hmm.
achievement of one becomes the achievement of
Yeah.
all. If even just one of us transcends our physicality, it will filter through to all of them. So every single one of us that's not distracted or maybe just a little bit distracted, we are doing the work for the whole, because you can't do
Yeah.
it for yourself and not have it bleed through into others. And we're seeing this. The internal is the external. Internal happens first, external happens back. Well, you surely noticed all the solar flare, solar flare, solar flare, coronal mass ejection, like it's nuts, right? And then the Schumann resonance going up, 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 up. So this is the work that we are doing, and everybody's being affected by it. So you can just rest comfortably in that.
Yeah, I think that is true. Yeah, exactly. What you do for yourself, you do for others too. And that's why the more I heal
Yeah.
myself, the more I improve. Yeah, it's not just like I'm on my own personal journey. It really does have an effect on
Right.
everybody, even if you don't see it. And I guess since you're into all the metaphysical stuff, if you could describe like or explain the concept of dimensions and because people talk about 3D, 4D,
Oh, yeah,
5D,
yeah,
the split. Like I'm always very
yeah.
interested to hear how someone explains that. That's very deep into
It's
that.
important. Yeah,
Yeah.
the one of my big gripes with the spiritual community is we do not have standardized definitions yet.
Oh
Imagine
yeah.
a scientific community where all the words meant something different. They wouldn't even be able to compare notes. That's where we're at in the spiritual community. So what I propose a dimension is an aspect of spatial experience. So we have height, that's one dimension,
Yeah.
width, that's
Mhm.
another, and then we have depth. And then to me, the fourth dimension is volume. So a third dimensional being has height, width, and depth perception, but they haven't yet encompassed the space that they perceive. But through the expansion of the spirit, you do. And then you find that fourth dimension of volume, and interwoven into the space, I found the web work of time, which to me is the fifth dimension. So I think what people are doing, they're confusing dimensions with densities in the
Yeah.
universal waveform source energy that we interpret as realities. There's compression layers like an onion, and it gets progressively lighter the further out you go. So I think they're confusing the fifth dimension with the fifth density. So
There.
there's
Yeah.
there's dimensional aspects to all of the densities, and there's infinite parallel realities within each one. So a density, like with the density that surrounds Earth, has a lot of chaos in it. It has the light and the dark, but the density that surrounds the density that surrounds us is all light. It's all glory. It's all bliss. I think that's what most people call the fifth dimension, but it's not a dimension. It's a density of energy, because you'll find that when you're there, that you there's I can't conceptualize past five dimensions, like time,
Yeah,
height, width,
because
depth,
people say higher
volume.
than that. I have trouble understanding when they go
Impossible.
above the five. I can't even
It's
like. I'm trying to
impossible.
understand. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
they're confused is
This
my take,
confuses me.
because yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess my only other question is, I guess advice for someone. So if there's someone that's just tapping into their spiritual gifts, most likely they just had a spiritual awakening, dark night of the soul. Maybe they already went through that a little bit, and maybe they're just
Hmm.
starting to tap into their spiritual gifts and become aware of other things. You know, some people it's clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience. What advice would you give to someone that's just experiencing that? You know, it could be overwhelming to certain people, and maybe even hard to kind of integrate in this world. What we talked about earlier, when you're up there, it's like you got a lot of
Hmm.
you have to ground and like still exist in this reality, but you're aware of these other things now. You know, how would you? What advice would you give somebody? Or
Uh,
of like where to begin, or like any kind of advice that would
yeah.
help.
Well, with integration, two words that have served me the best is grace and nonchalance. If you have grace, which to me is an innate sense of worthiness, and nonchalance, which is straight up, I just don't give a fuck. Like just straight,
I think if you can swear,
don't
mate.
get. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we swear
Yeah,
on.
so the grace and the nonchalance really helps with the psychological aspect of it. But in terms of energetic integration, I like to let people know as soon as possible they're tripart being. So we start this journey and we think we're physical, and that's a molecular perception. We perceive particles. Then we start to have spiritual experiences and we go, damn, I'm not the physical body. I'm this waveform source energy. And that's true too. You're both. You're the body and you're the
Yeah,
waveform energy, but you get stuck in this greater waveform energy truth, and then experiences can really derail you because they're intense. Well, this is where the third part of being comes in, and the primary part of you is pure consciousness that dwells in empty space, and this is 99.9% empty space
yeah.
everywhere. So if you anchor yourself in the emptiness, then any vibration can pass through you and not overwhelm you. You'll just be like comfortable within any vibration because you're not identifying with the vibration itself. And this is where the pure consciousness and the pure love force resides, is in the empty space, which is everywhere.
It reminds me of the quote, arrive empty and you will be filled. And I've been kind of going through that. I've been
Yeah,
doing a lot more with spending time more by myself, like alone, like with no distractions, with nothing on you. I was a person in the past
right.
that had like addictions, all those different things, and was very easily into a lot of things. I'll just say that. So like I've
Yep.
really gone through that, and it's really resonating with me. The arrive empty, and you will be filled. Like empty all this BS out of your mind,
Yeah.
body, soul, and even the body, like detoxing too. I think tapping your spiritual gifts. When if you eat, especially I'm in the U.S., like if you eat all the foods here, I think a lot of that is meant
Oh, yeah.
to lower everything. Like, and I notice when I eat certain foods, I'm not getting some of those spiritual downloads. Or if I'm,
It's
if
true.
you're, yeah, you need to really like detox. It really is like
You
it's just
do.
not it's not full, just not from a physical level. I mean, going empty, but like from a mental, spiritual, emotional, and physical level. So it's very.
Absolutely.
I'm really seeing like the connection with all of that.
Yeah. There's a coordinated top-down effort to keep people asleep.
Oh yeah.
They don't want people waking up to this, and I like to talk about that as little as possible because I don't. It validates them, and I
Yeah,
don't
that
like to
is true. It gives
validate
them more
them.
energy, attention. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's right. You're getting a vibe. You're getting a vibration and energy there. Don't worry. I mean, I I look. I speak about it because I really assimilate with Robin Hood because I just you see something, especially since I was a kid. You see something being done, and you know it's wrong, and you know that the more powerful are picking on the less powerful people or less
Yeah.
fortunate people, more the common man, if you want to put it that way. So I guess that's channeling that energy. It's just like any type of channeling the energy to put it towards the good of yourself and doing the best you can. And that's a friend of mine down here, he actually said, it's how much energy you give to this, what's happening, but also why don't you try and reverse it and try and think about giving yourself that amount of energy or that passion in the energy to make yourself
Yep.
better.
Amen. Absolute.
Yeah, I think that's, excuse me. Sorry. It's,
No worries.
it's a big thing to do it's a big thing to do what we're doing. Excuse me. I'll get that frog out of my throat. Oh yeah, that is what it is. But yeah, I'm just sitting here fascinated in what your teachings are because it really, assimilates. I use that word a bit, but and also comes into your life when it's really, really needed. And
Yep.
do you believe also with regards to the way people are going to assimilate and I guess ascend in some ways? And do you believe that they should be looking at their vibe, what we were talking about before? Do you think it's easier to understand vibe and frequency early in your spiritual journey than later?
Yeah, absolutely. That I believe is the first big profound shift, is that you stop thinking about yourself in terms of physicality and you start seeing not just yourself, but the whole world in terms of vibration and spectrum and frequency. And this, I believe, is the true biblical meaning. To inherit the kingdom of heaven, you must be born again of spirit. Spirit is energy. Being born again of spirit is not being dunked under the water by John Joe saying the right words. That's not going to cause you to be born again of spirit. Being born again of spirit is interpreting everything through waveform, through frequency.
Yeah, Jackie Lyons, our friend, a close friend of mine and close friend of the show, we were always talked about frequency and vibration and the importance of it. One more thing, what about, as I said to you, selective indifference? I come back to that. People can't practice it as best they can because people are emotional these days, and people say stand up for your rights. They want to stand up when someone says something wrong or says something against. And the other thing is, I believe that people can't actually have a physical discussion because their ego comes in one way or
Oh
the
yeah.
other.
Yeah.
And I don't think people really understand. You can't, if you can actually physically sit down and have a conversation without going, oh, you're wrong, or cutting people off because they don't agree with what they've said. And I mean, I've done it. I probably still do it. I
Yeah.
absolutely still do it. But the
Mhm.
consciousness and awareness of that, I think that's where it could start as well. Where actually we can have civil conversations about this.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's huge. And learning that uh, if you're really comfortable in your truth, then you won't get triggered by hearing other people's. And I also counsel to, instead of be looking for differences, look for bridges. Like look
Yeah.
for the sameness. Like if
Yeah.
you approach a conversation and what are things that we agree on instead of what are things that, or maybe he's saying the same exact thing I am, I'm just not hearing it right. Just being more open like that. And or as I like to say, more ears, less mouth. The wise man is the one listening, not saying a word until inspired. But yeah, we can all do a lot better than what we do, and human nature will always come back around like a curveball, even for those of us who've been on the path for a long time. But yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's coming up these days, and obviously our journey, Diana, myself, Sarah, Cortez, Jackie, my friend Sarah, and there's Solomon King, all our group that's actually expanding. And you coming in today, my friend, just has really resonated with. There's a lot of people that are on that journey and not lost, but they're actually on the journey, and they just need guidance from people like us, my friend. So we really appreciate you reaching out and coming on our show. It's something
Yeah.
that we aspired to when we first started, and now, mate, it's manifested when we needed to manifest.
Yeah, it's been great. You guys pulled out the best in me. That doesn't always happen. So likewise, back to you.
Yeah, we appreciate having you on, and it's
Oh,
been a really great chat, and I really like going deep into these kind of topics, and especially talking to someone that actually has a lot of knowledge on it. It's very interesting. So where can people find you on whether it's social media, YouTube, if they're or and I'll provide your links in our description in the show notes
Okay.
as well.
Well, the easiest way, I've umbrellaed everything under a bio site, so it's michaelmonk.bio, bio, and then all of my social media, all of my teaching schools, everything is umbrellaed underneath that, michaelmonk.bio.
Yep. Cool.
we'll stick that. Yeah, we'll put that up during the show as well when we do the edits and stuff from there. But
Awesome.
mate, we'd like to have you on and get an expert, mate. I think
I'd love that.
we're looking at doing round table experts. I've got a couple of friends of mine that would really, really love to when they see this episode. I think they'll be
Okay.
calling me, going, Michael, he's pretty good. I think we're gonna have a chat. So
Okay.
I'll
Yeah,
share.
I'd love that.
So, but mate, well done on everything, my friend. It's
Thanks,
just
man.
to be who you are and to humble yourself, especially when you go through a lot of things. And we go through life talking to people. I mean, the hardest thing is people. Let's be honest. I mean, I always say I hate people. I hate people, but I always say this. I always say this analogy because people always cut me off when I go, I hate people, and I go, hang on a minute, let me finish. But what you do is it's like panning for gold. When you got gold,
Right.
you know, you don't wish anything bad. It's just an opinion. But when you
Right.
fish for gold, you get those little bits of gold and you keep it really close to you.
Yeah.
So we've found some gold today, my friend, in yourself. So really
Likewise.
appreciate you.
Likewise.
So we'd like
You
to
too.
do some work. We'll
Absolutely.
do what we need to do to help as many people as we can on these journeys. Diane, you got any
Excellent.
last words?
No, I think I've asked everything that I wanted to ask, and I think he's given us some really good advice. And I'm definitely gonna, when I rewatch this and edit, I'll be taking some notes as well. Um, but yeah, I really appreciate you coming on, and I think this was very a profound discussion, and it's
Yeah.
very good to hear a different side, a different someone that's studied a lot, that studied a lot of this and can really give us some a good understanding of it all. And I like the way you describe it. You like, even though you have a very high understanding of all this, like you broke it down pretty simple for us to understand, for the average person that maybe hasn't studied all these different things. So I really like the way you explained everything, and
Hmm.
it definitely resonates. So I appreciate that.
Very good. When you get
We'll
this
yeah.
edited and you drop it, make sure to email me a link so I can give it to
Oh
my
yeah.
admin and he'll send
Oh,
it out to through my
we'll do some
channels.
clip. Yeah, we'll do some clips and stuff, my friend. So if you're going to look
Okay.
up, we'll be looking up on Journey of a White Feather. We've got Trailblazers of the Universe. We've got Big Soul Healing. We've got the FSK with Cortez, and Divine Journeys with myself and Sarah. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank
Awesome.
you so much for tuning in. Again, another wonderful individual coming on and sharing his love for life and his love for himself that he has shared, and his journey that he shared. It's an amazing thing to be in a great vibration. So you've really brought the vibration up, my friend, and
Thank you, brother.
we're really proud to call you a friend. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is episode 73, if I'm correct, of Life
Yeah,
Theories.
73.
Wow, that's 4.5 years of me getting up at 6:30 in the morning, except for
Thank you,
that time
Jay.
I
I
was at
appreciate
bed.
it. Yeah, I do appreciate it.
Oh no,
It's
no,
not
I'm just
easy
making a
for
point. I'm just
everyone.
sitting there. I'm actually thinking, going, hang on. I always say I'm out of whack. Hey, I'm going to Perth in 2 weeks. I'm going to get up 2 hours early, so it'll be a 4:30 start.
Wait, it's gonna. Well, we'll have to switch the times again when, yeah, well, we have to constantly
4:30
switch with
start
the
in
times.
WA.
Yeah, yeah, gosh.
But I'm back in line. Back in line. Well, you know, Michael, I believe that you resonate in particular time zones and particular energies and particular environments as well. So Calgary and Fremantle, go and look them up. They're really nice places. But ladies and gentlemen, this is Life Theories, episode 73. I ramble. That's the way it is. Kangaroos, koalas, Steve Irwin impersonations. Beautiful day down under. We're over to the USA as well with Diana. Michael, thank you so much for coming on board, and we look forward
Thanks,
to the next
guys.
episode of Live Theories. Watch out for this episode. This is going to be a beauty.
Yep. All right, guys. We're signing off. Have a good one. Make sure to
Okay, you guys
follow,
too.
like, subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff. And we'll see you guys later. Have a good one.